Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Kubota Farm. We are here on East Vineland, New Jersey. I hope you all have had a really wonderful week. Here in the States, we are just finishing up, our Thanksgiving holiday. And if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you don't, well, I hope you had a great Thursday. And we are here on Friday trying to get a quick episode out for the end of the week. Um, Thought what we would do is take care of this. Take care of the weeds that are apparently inevitable on our fields that we have planted. If we can get the weeder out and take care of them now, I think we can head them off before they start growing. Not a lot of choices with weeders, if I'm being honest. I mean, I looked in the in-game weeding section or weeders section. Not a big selection. And I was looking on the mod market, and I just could not find anything that really, you know, did the trick any better than what this one will in the game. And unfortunately, it does not come in Kubota Orange. So we're just going to have to go with what we've got, or what we can get our hands on. I think the M7, if I back it up properly, will be able to handle this weeder okay. Seems like I use this weeder the far majority of the time. It's reasonable horsepower for its width, and does a nice job. So I don't know, it just seems like it's always the one that I end up falling back on. I do wish it had more color selection. Maybe I'll peek around and see if somebody's put a mod out for this thing for color selection, but otherwise we're just gonna go with it the way it is. I think we'll set up GPS on it real quick and have that available to us. Let's see here, we need to move our, oops. All right, Brad, be nice if you use the correct key combination. There we go. We figured it out. Let's lock in and set her down. Yeah, it's going to tear up some grass, it looks like. I'm going to keep it away from our poplar field. Oh boy. Yeah, had that repaired. So from a last episode when I chose to plant canola in part of our poplar field, that wasn't a great idea. But we'll see if we can stay away from it this episode, that's for sure. Hello, sheep. How you doing? Outstanding. Whew, I'm feeling it too. I'm feeling the holiday, the holiday, I guess, not stress so much as just tired, you know? And we're in the home stretch. Christmas and New Year's coming up. And we'll be here before we know it, that is for sure. Let's see if I can let go of our GPS here for a second and maybe do a quick headland around here. Grass will grow back, I guess. I'm wondering if we can get, is this thing rated at 7 miles an hour, or is it just because I chose to go with a little bit smaller tractor? I forget what this is rated at. Whoa, 7 miles an hour. Yeah, I saw 15 and I'm like, what? I didn't think so, but we'll take it. It's got a good width to it. It gets the job done pretty nicely, so. And if we hop out, we should be able to see, like over here where it says weeds growing. And over here, they go away. That's what we're looking for, at least. I was kind of thinking we were going to have to wait to take care of weeds. past our first growth stage, or at our first growth stage, but then I remembered that that you can jump on weeds before they start to grow, so you don't have to use herbicide. And let's see, where did we... I think this is the lane we need this time right here. And as far as precision farming is concerned, I know that it... I think it prefers this approach over using herbicide. I think you get penalized on your precision farming score if you use herbicide, if I remember correctly. Oh, and also on the poplar field, I did confirm that because I forgot to plow before planting poplar, that is a 5% yield penalty, which is unfortunate because poplar is, it's perennial and annual. Perennial is reoccurring, correct? I hope I don't have those backwards. I'll stick with that. Since it's a perennial plant, or a reoccurring plant, unfortunately we're going to lose 5% yield each time we harvest our poplar, which is kind of a shame. But not as significant as I had thought it was. But 5% is 5%, so still something I would have liked to have avoided. I thought it was kind of curious too. If we look at our map here, and we're on the combo field here, and we look at weeds, it doesn't show any weeds, right? And I guess it won't show any weeds until they actually start growing. So it would be nice to see some indication, because we do see weed growing. Use a weeder. It'd be nice to see that on the map, just to be able to confirm, that you're covering the entire area. Because I don't see a difference in texture either for what the weeder is covering. But we'll just use GPS and do the best we can. And if we do miss a few, we can always spot spray. We do have a sprayer. We do have a see and spray enabled sprayer that we can always use if we ever need to. But I think we're in pretty good shape as far as our planting season goes. Not having waited till September to do wheat or barley on this field, and just kind of jumping on canola and getting that done. So, is there a little bit of a texture difference, maybe? Almost looked like it there a bit, but I don't think there is much of one, if there is any. Swing around. Lock into our GPS, lower our weeder. Not the most exciting work in the world, that's for sure. But certainly good for our crops, and it'll keep our yield. Keep our yields as high as we can possibly keep them at. So what a week, it was a short week at work for myself. It was kind of nice that in that way. And Thursday, of course, I'm recording this Thursday evening, so we're still technically in the Thanksgiving day period, and watching some football today. Don't know if any of you are NFL, American football fans or not, but World Cup is on as well, and I'm not usually, much of a soccer fan. I don't really follow soccer much throughout the year, but when the World Cup comes around, yeah, that's pretty entertaining. I will say that soccer fans, they know how to they know how they know how to enjoy their sport. That is for sure. And talk about getting into it. Holy cow. I think I watch World Cup more just for the atmosphere of the stadium. You know, as much as the game itself, it's pretty incredible to see. And it's also fun to listen to the foreign announcers announce the game. You know, countries where soccer is king. Um, wow, the passion that goes into the game calling is pretty amazing. And I know generally about the game. I don't know the rules and regulations nearly as well as I would something like football, hockey. But I noticed that I was switching to listening to, and I don't know, I think it was Spanish broadcasters or commentary. And man, were they getting excited about some things. And I'm watching on TV and I'm like, what are they so excited about? Like something, it almost like the stadium got bombed or something. They were so like just freaking out. And it's just funny because it's such an open field game that I don't know that I know enough about soccer to be able to watch it and get excited about a potentially big play, you know. I mean, obviously, if a dude's running down the field with the ball and no one's in front of him heading towards the goal, I kind of figured that's kind of a big deal. But watching and listening to the foreign announcers, um, I guess I'm just missing the boat on some of those things. But it does make it a lot of fun. And World Cup is such a big deal, and a lot of emotions are there and everything, and it's just great to see the audience and the crowd just getting into it as much as they do. I don't know, I was thinking, you know, what's the closest thing really that we have um, here in the States, you know, that's even remotely um, that emotional as far as sports go, and watching people get that into it. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I mean, obviously, whenever there's playoffs, you know, you've got, um, you know, you got the World Series and you know the Super Bowl, of course, is always big. But even if I look at the Super Bowl and I watch the crowd at the Super Bowl, still not even close to the crowds at these World Cup matches. Um, Stanley Cup playoffs. You know, I would say the closest thing that I've seen, at least in American sports, that would come close at all would be very, very big college football game rivalries, where you've got college football fans are certainly different than, you know, college football games in general are just, to me, are a lot of fun to watch because you have that school spirit and school pride, you know, and you've got college students who have probably been drinking some lemonade before the game. And I've seen, you know, some good crowds for college football. And like I said, especially if they're big rivalry games, or maybe bowl games. You know, there's only like 45 bowl games in college football now. Um, it's kind of crazy, you know. I used to watch CFL, Canadian football, too, for a while because football and hockey are my favorite sports, and off-season for football. But I like to get as much football in as I can. And watching some Canadian football, that's always fun. I watch some arena football as well. But college football is probably really my favorite, just because of the atmosphere. And, you know, you've got the marching band, and you've always got, you know, the mascots and the whole 9 yards. Just the atmosphere is is really good. That's, I guess, the closest thing I could think of to World Cup atmosphere, but it's still it doesn't hold up to World Cup um, uh, crowds. That's for sure. I think I was seeing some advertisements for, oh, is it USFL again, or another football league that's going to be starting up? I guess it's designed to be, you know, again, off season of the NFL, so that for people who are jonesing for some football, and there's no college football, and Super Bowl playoffs are all done. I forget what the season for the CFL is, and I know I've got at least one viewer who is a Canadian and probably knows the answer to that, what CFL seasons is like, but or when that happens, what time of the year that takes place. I think we're in pretty good shape. I think there's an area, a strip along the side over here that I missed when I was making my first pass. Yeah, just a small area right here we can hit real quick right along here. It'd be nice to be able to straighten this field out a bit more and not have that curve to it, but is what it is. No regrets on actually combining this field. I actually kind of like it. I wasn't 100% sure that I would, but I'm kind of glad we did that. I'm kind of glad we went ahead and combined it up, actually. Let's run on over to the north field, and we will get our weeding done there. Apologize if I sound a little tired. I think I actually am feeling a little bit tired. I really wanted to get an episode out for Friday, though. Even though it may not be the most exciting episode. It's weeding, but it is something we need to get done on the farm here. But I apologize if I sound a little bit groggy. Been thinking about Old Family Farm as well. Actually, recording this Thursday night, so there is an episode of Old Family Farm coming out shortly. Actually, if I look at my clock, it's actually just about ready to be released right now. I want to make sure, I always like to make sure I get an episode of Old Family Farm out. I just love that map so much, and I enjoy playing it so much that just something I really enjoy doing. Let's see here. I think we're locked in pretty good. Gonna take out some grass, but that's all right. Grass always grows back. I did find one, I found a chain. It was a mod. It was actually listed as a chain harrow. And it did have color selection. It was quite a bit smaller than this. I think it was only like 6 meters, I believe it was. And I downloaded that, probably not from the most reputable mod site, but I figured I'd at least check it out and then try to find a more legit link or something. But I downloaded that and tried it out, but I think it was a conversion, most likely, from FS19. And it was just one of those conversions where the person that converted it, either A, most likely didn't have permission any ways to do it, would be my guess. And I say that only because most legit modders, I would say almost all legit modders, if it's actually their mod and they're converting it for the new version of FarmSim, they'll do a good job, and they'll make sure that it's basically, if not entirely, almost entirely error-free, you know. Excuse me. This chain arrow was was not. It had a considerable amount of warnings. I don't think it had any errors, but it had a lot of warnings, and it just didn't look very good. Visibly, it was all right. It wasn't anything special. You could tell that it was probably tossed into Giants Editor and, you know, converted to FS22 and thrown out to be downloaded. I don't understand why people do that. I never will. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But it was listed as a chain harrow, but it actually acted, basically, it acted like a weeder. It looked like a weeder. Different than this one, but it looked a lot like a weeder. And I tested it out, and it would have worked, and it was color selectable. It didn't have Kubota orange, but it had, you know, that other orange that's kind of close or similar to the Kubota orange. But I just wasn't all that comfortable using it in this game save. I try to avoid. I kind of like trying to keep a reasonably clean game log if possible. Even though that still doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're not going to have any conflicts, it certainly, you know, I think is the step in that direction to avoid conflicts or game crashes or errors or issues with mods for sure. Little M7 does a nice job with this weeder though. I think the weeder's rated. Oh, that's right. There was an update for the Critters mod today. If you're not familiar with the Critters mod, it just basically adds some additional sound, environmental sounds to the game. And the mod author put out an update, and he added dogs barking. And I think I just heard maybe a train whistle, but he said he added dogs barking and train whistles or something along those lines. I have to listen to the recording and see. I think I disabled the Critters mod because it seemed kind of loud in comparison to other environmental sounds, so I think I disabled it. So I'm gonna have to listen to the recording and see how things sound. It just seemed like it was a bit overwhelming volume-wise, comparatively speaking. But I thought I'd give it a go with the new, couple new sounds added just to hear what it sounded like. Be nice to buy that field, wouldn't it? And to be able to just extend this thing out. That's probably going to be the next field we purchase when we do buy a field. It's probably going to be that one. So we can... That'll be a pretty good size field if we combine these two, that's for sure. That's not a bad size field at all. And I don't know, there's just something about this field in this area that just looks to me like a cornfield, you know. But I'm also looking at it as being a cornfield, and it might be a little challenging if we do forage, if we forage the corn, you know, and get chaff from it. Being a single player, you either have to use something where, you know, you have a tow behind or something where you can be foraging and be towing the trailer, or if you use AI to manage the forage harvester. It's been my experience, at least, that if you do that, It's nice to have a lot of room around you. And these trees alongside here and everything might make it a bit of a challenge to deal with the game's AI and trying to stick with them with a trailer. So that might be a little interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. If we do decide to, don't have access. Oh yeah, yeah. If we decide, we might take a different path over here. There's the dogs barking. I have to listen for a train sound if we hear any train sounds. There's a lot of options when it comes to foraging corn, though, and I'm sure we can come up with something that'll work well here. I'm curious if you set up a course play course for the forage harvester, will course play support that? Will it or will it, you know what I'm saying? Like if you set up a course play course for a forage harvester, will course play detect that it needs to wait for you with a trailer and allow you time to be able to go empty the trailer, come back? Will course play stop and wait for you like the AI does, or is course play just gonna keep going and dump it on the ground, or what? That's always another option too, is just have um, is just run the forage harvester. Well, you could always run the forage harvester with a trailer on the back of it, I guess. Get a hitch and hitch a trailer onto the back of the forage harvester. You could do that and keep the AI out of it, and then just dump your trailer off every time it gets full. I've done that before. I remember back in FS13, I did a lot of corn that way, where I hired an AI person, an AI helper to run the forage harvester, and I ran the wagon. And I remember it wasn't without its challenges, but I think I got pretty used to. I remember it not being that frustrating, and I think I got pretty used to the little tricks that you learn to work better with that hired helper. But that was also on Hagenstedt, where there wasn't a lot of there weren't a lot of fields that had trees this close to it, and that many trees this close to it. But I've been kind of in the mood to get a nice big crop of corn going over here, or on some field, and doing some harvesting, some foraging that way. I think that'd be a lot of fun. We can turn off our GPS. We can fold up our weeder. I think we're in pretty good shape, I would say. Let's hop out here real quick. Yep, I don't see indications of weed growing anymore, so that'll be good. Let's take a quick peek. I really haven't been paying very close attention to our environmental score, but we're at 66. Starting to get closer into the green, which is good. It looks like, I don't know, what are these? Is this out of 20? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yeah. So, boy, if that's the case, well, tillage can only, man, if tillage is over half, that has to be 10, right? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Let's see here. Your environmental score increases your sell prices by 5%, which is an interesting thing to say. So the wording on that is confusing. So your environmental score can increase or may increase is missing. It just says increases your sell price by 5%. So apparently, even if you were in the red down here and had an environmental score of 20, you still get 5% increase. Nitrogen. Um, So this is what I'm assuming, and I know this isn't anything special, but it looks to me like nitrogen probably is it's less than half, so this has to be like 25 points. And then the pH value looks like it's probably 15, right? It's kind of just looking at the where the indicator is here on the slider. So 25 and 15 is 40. This looks like it has to be 30. So that would be 70. This looks like it's probably close to 15, 20 maybe. I don't know. I figure this adds up to 100, but maybe I'm wrong. It probably should. Looks like we're heading in the right direction though for our environmental score, which I guess is good. It looks like I remember seeing a video about that. I haven't paid that close of attention to it, but it seems like somebody did a YouTube video about the environmental score, the bonus, the sale price bonus that you get. I'll have to check that out again and see if it's a max 5% or is it 5% for every X amount or what it is. But I think we're in good shape. I leased this weeder because I thought, you know, I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna stay on the hunt for. Look at 10 man. You've got me lowering my. You've got me lowering my my equipment now every time I drop it off. I'm so aware of that now. It's pretty funny. I'm gonna keep looking for a weeder and see if I can't find something that maybe we can get in Kubota orange, or if any of you know of one, or like I said, even if we end up with this one, but a mod that opens up the color selection, maybe we can just do that too. But I don't think, yeah, we don't need this thing anymore. Our poplar fields, um, poplar field isn't gonna weed up, I don't think. Yeah, no weeds growing there. I think that's also going to do it for this episode of Kubota Farm. I really do appreciate y'all sticking with me. I apologize for maybe what would be considered a bit of a lackluster performance today. I'm just feeling a little tired, end of the week kind of stuff, but I do appreciate you joining me once again on here, and hopefully I'll see you this weekend. I may not, being the holiday weekend, got some plans going on. If I don't, I will most certainly see you Monday again back here in East Vineland. But thanks again for joining me. Y'all take care of yourselves. Make sure and take care of each other, and I'll see you soon.